We didn't get here late last night. 20 years. That's what I'm saying. It was 12:30 before we got here. This morning had to kind of work around on this, and then we hadn't seen the girls yet. By the time we met, we're trying to get changed. So we know we can get to you today. Hi, here's somebody sneaking up and say hi to you.
Can you? There's Tom. There he is back there, and his new bride, Beth. And I remember talking to Tom about this. You know, Tom's my namesake. His middle name is Andrew. And so he talks with me from time to time and checks out things. And he said to me several years ago, he said, Uncle Bill, he said, I have a half a mind to get married. And I said, Tom, it takes half a mind to get married. But he didn't listen to me. He went ahead and he got married. And he did marry a very fine young lady. Now, I don't know if you've noticed about weddings, but the neat thing about weddings is women really get into weddings. They really enjoy that process. In fact, when a woman gets married, there are three things that she'll forever remember about a wedding. She'll remember she came into the church and she saw the aisle strewn with flowers. And that memory of that aisle will stay with her forever. And she will remember the altar that was there in the front. And she'll remember it and what it represented. And then she'll look there and she sees him. And she remembers him and his splendor. Those three things she'll always remember: aisle, altar, him. Spirit men, protect me here. Now, one of the things that 60 years of being married means, that it does mean a great deal of endurance. Because all relationships are an up and down kind of thing, and you have to endure through that. I remember my dad, one of Dad's favorite stories, or my favorite story hearing from Dad, is talking about an argument one time that Uncle G.C. was having with his brother's wife. And his brother's wife said to him, she said, Uncle G.C., she said, G.C., if I were married to you, I'd poison you. And Uncle G.C. said, if I was married to you, I'd take it. Now, one of the things about this family is that it has a heritage, and it's a lot of Irish heritage. And you know, the Irish are known for a number of things, and one of those is they have an Irish temper, but the Irish are also pleasant to get along with, and they like people to love them. In fact, I don't know if you're familiar with the Irish prayer that I grew up with. The Irish prayer is that, may those who love us, and those who don't love us, may God turn their hearts. And if he doesn't turn their hearts, may he turn their ankles, so we'll know them by their limping. We like to know who's for us and who's against us. One of the things also that makes a marriage endure is knowing that you're needed. And I think that those of you who have watched through the years of Mom and Dad, you know that sense of being needed by each other. And so Judy McDowell, my wife Judy McDowell, is going to sing for us now.
Well, if it is true that you have to be half a mind to get married, then I'm the one that married the half-wit.
Amen, sister.
Now, I know I had 60 years to learn the words of this song, but it wasn't quite long enough, so bear with me. to be perfectly honest, I always wanted to sing for Dad, but every time he came down, it was never on a Sunday, so it was never in church. But then I know what the Christian faith has meant to the McDowells and to the McDowell family, so you get it today. Finally cornered you. I'm a tape player.
Ah, we got some talent around here, right? It's great. Well, one thing that 60 years ago, Mom and Dad decided to get married, and out of that issued 5 children. And one of the neat things about having children is you get to decide the names. Now, I think it's unique that you look at the names that children have and what does that mean in terms of family. I was the first living male. I was named after both my grandfathers, William and Andrew. William after my grandfather Bill, Dad's father, and Andrew after my mother's father. And then Dave came along, and he was named after the doctor who delivered him, David Sylvester. We always like to remind him of that. And then came Loretta Kay. Now, the Kay we know is from Aunt Kathleen. And
I just found out today, as just a reminder, that my Aunt Irma reminded me that she's the one who gave me Kay. But I don't know if you know this, Bill. Guess where I got Loretta? I think it's from Daddy's old girlfriend.
well, we won't bring that up. He is blushing, I don't know. And Christine was named after Aunt Stella. And then Chuck came along, and they let me name Chuck. Now, I happened to be reading a comic book called Chuck at that time, and I named him Chuck. And I found out afterwards that they said his name's not Chuck, it's Charles. Now, no one told me that Chuck was a nickname for Charles. I wanted it to be Chuck. Now, he has stuck with Chuck, but it was a disappointment to me to find out that it wasn't quite his name. It's kind of like the Italian who went to the Catholic priest. And he said to the Catholic priest, he said, I was bringing you my new boy. I have a new boy. And he said, I want you to baptize him. I brought the first son, though, and I asked you to baptize him, and you said, what's his name? And I say, his name is Tom. His name is Tom. And you write down Thomas. He said, now I bring my second son and when baptized, and you have to understand his name is Jack. I do not want you to write down jackass. So, some of you are slow, I don't know. Well, Loretta became Sis, and so we called her Sis very fondly. In fact, I was reminded several years ago I called her a different name. I don't remember exactly what it was, but she reminded me that to her I should always address her as Sis. So she's going to share with you just a few reminiscences, and then I think she and Barney are going to do something together.
My turn came too soon. I had the privilege of about a year and a half ago of taking Mom and Dad to their old hometown, and that was Brownwood and Advance. We went to Advance first, and we always stopped at the park, and this was a very special place at this park because this is where the spark began, and this is where Mom gave the eye to Dad. We always loved this story as kids, and so it was nice to actually see the place where this happened. And we then made the long journey into Brownwood 6 miles later. And when we got there, there was something that was very different that happened. I don't recall ever going to this place before. And I'm sure Mom and Dad, you recall that we had come before the house where you and Mom were married. And we wanted to take your picture. You stood in front of the house, and you put your arm around Mother. And it was one of the most priceless memories that I'll always have. It was as if 59 years just shed from the both of you. And I looked at you, and for a moment I had to blink my eyes because I thought, my, they look so young, and you could see the love that they had for each other. And Mom gave Dad a special look as he gave back to her. And that I shall always cherish. As most of you know that are very close to Mom and Dad do not have wedding rings. This is something that they did not have at that time. So they do not have the symbols that we have today. However, they did have their vows that they spoke to one another. And one of their vows was through sickness and through health. This was tested many, many times in their lives. Richer and poor, I mean, they always got the poor, never the richness, which we all have had to go through. And then last, for better or for worse. And when you have 5 kids, you get a lot of the works, I'm afraid. Then, as Bill mentioned, we have, there's 5 kids, 5 personalities, and it's so fascinating for me today to watch how all of us react to different things. And I hear Bill tell a story, and it's like, was I there? I don't remember this. So it's always from Bill's perspective, my perspective, Dave's. But most of you that know Bill very well will know that he gets a little bit more pizzazz than most of us do, and he might have a tendency to exaggerate, even though I would never really say that. And when he tells stories, David was, well, he was kind of known as a little bit of the troublemaker, you know. He was either in trouble or being ready to get into trouble, so his stories were like, hey, I got out of that one, or boy, did I get caught in this one. And with me, whether he will admit it or not, I was really, honestly, and Chris and Chuck know this, I was the good girl. I was the two-shoes. I swear, I really was. But David will find out tonight the reason why. Well, you know that I hear a lot of laughter still in the background there. But anyway, you know, we were a very religious family. Went to church all the time. I read my Bible. Now, one day I was reading the Bible and it said, children, honor your parents in the Lord. Now, you know, a lot of people just stop right there. But I went a little further. It says, so that your days may be long upon the land which he gives you. And I thought, my gosh, I'm not going to die. I'm going to obey my mom and dad. So that's why I was very good. So that gives you an idea. With Chris and with Chuck, because of the wide range with ages, there's a lot of things that they might not recall that we would recall. But I have a song, please bear with me with this, because Barney and I just started trying it today. So I might jump around and be off key, but what the heck. See if you remember some of these things, okay? Because it might pertain to you. I'm just getting over a broken arm, so I'm a little sloppy holding things. That's another thing. My daddy told me not to ride a bike, and I disobeyed, and I broke my arm. Obey your parents. Okay. Now we're going to start. Okay. Saturday morning cereal chapters 1 through 15. Fly paper, penny loafers, Lucky Strike green. Flat tops, sock hops, Studebaker, Pepsi, please. Ah, do you remember these? Cigar bands on your hand, your daddy's socks roll down. Sticks, no bud, and aviator caps with flaps that button down. Movie stars on Dixie-cup tops and knickers to your knees. Ah, do you remember these? The hit parade, grape Kool-Aid, City Hawkins dance. Pedal pushers, ducktail hair, and egg in your pants. Howdy doody, tutti frutti, see the back of your holes. Ah, do you remember those? James Dean, he was king, Sunday movies were taboo. Senior prom, Judy's mom, rock and roll was new. Crackerjack prize, stars in your eyes, got steady for the keys. Ah, do you remember these? The boogeyman, lemonade stand, taking your tonsils out. Indian bird, wait your turn, 4 foul balls, you're out. Cigarette load, secret code, save them lucky stars. Can you remember back that far? The boat-neck shirts and finger skirts and Kremlin petticoats. Mum's the word and a dirty bird and a double root beer float. Moon hut caps and loud hoof taps and he's a real gone cat. Ah, do you remember that? Dancing clothes with more jokes and spoolies in her hair. Captain Midnight and Ovaltine and the whip at the county fair. Charles Atlas course, Carl Rogers horse, and only the shadow knows. Oh, do you remember those? Gable's charm, frog in your arm, loud mufflers pitch and woo. Going steady, Veronica and Betty, white bucks and blue suede shoes. Knock knock jokes, who's there? Dewey, Dewey who? Do we remember these? Yes we do. Ah, Dewey, Do we remember these? Sorry. There's one more that Barney and I are going to attempt here. You know, one thing that I recall with Mom and Dad is their kindness. You know, we always had people in our home. And I remember one day, and I don't know, it might have been a tramp that came by. I always got mixed up who was hobos, who was tramps. But I remember, I'm sorry, I was a very sheltered child. But I remember this song. It's called Hobo's Meditation. And when I heard it, I always think about Uncle GC too, because you know he was the one railroad man I knew and loved. But this is the song, if I can remember how it goes. Last night when I lay on the boxcar, just waiting for a train to pass by, what will become of the hobo whenever his time comes to die? There's a master yonder in heaven, got a place that we might call our home, when we have to work for a living, or can we continue to roam? Will there be any freight trains in heaven, any boxcars in which we might hide? Will there be any top cops and brakemen will tell us that we cannot ride? Will the hobo chum with the rich man? Will we always have money to spend? Will they have respect for the hobo in that land that lies hidden up there? Will there be any freight trains in heaven, any boxcars in which we might hide? Will there be any top cops and brakemen will tell us that we cannot ride? Will the hobo chum with the rich man? Will we always have money to spend? Will they have respect for the hobo in that land that lies hidden up there?
I've got this microphone stand here. Thought we might try a sing-along song. You know, Arthur and Novella, as you know, John and Scott were Boy Scouts, and I worked a lot with the Scouts. And we used to try to tell them how to pick out girls. Because, you know, people just don't stay together like they used to, like you all have 60 years. And so, I know you didn't have much instruction on how to pick out girls, Arthur, but you did a real good job. She's been a good helpmeet all these years. And so we just like to give the Boy Scouts a little encouragement in properly picking out a girl. So we sing this song about a guy that wasn't so careful. And this has got a sing-along chorus, and we'd like everybody in the room to sing along. My microphone stand here could even sing if he wanted to. The chorus goes like this. Let's get the right key. He's a very unfortunate man. He's a very unfortunate man. Now when that comes around, that's your part. This dead microphone stand can sing up here. You all can do real good. There once was a lawyer we'll call Mr. Clay. He had but few clients and they would not pay. At last of starvation he grew so afraid that he courted and married a wealthy old maid. At the wedding this lawyer made one big mistake. It was not in omitting the wine or the cake. The rings, well, were chosen and they had a big fee, but the lawyer did not get a warrant deed. Let's sing it. He's a very unfortunate, very unfortunate, very unfortunate man. Yes, he is. He's a very unfortunate, very unfortunate, very unfortunate man. That night in their chambers the lady arose and began to prepare to retire and repose. Her husband sat near her, admiring her charms, which gave him such pleasures to hold in his arms. She went to the washstand to bathe her fair face, and thus she destroyed all her beauty and grace. The rose on her cheek quickly grew very faint, and he saw on the towel it was nothing but pain. Let's sing it. He's a very unfortunate, very unfortunate, very unfortunate man. Yes, he is. He's a very unfortunate, very unfortunate, very unfortunate man. Well, she went to the mirror to take down her hair, and when she had done so, her scalp was all bare. She said, "Don't be frightened to see my bald head. I'll put on my cap when I get into bed." She hung her false hair on a wall on a peg, and then she proceeded to take off a leg. Her trembling husband thought sure he would die when she asked him to come and take out her glass eye. She's a very unfortunate, very unfortunate, very unfortunate man. Yes, he is. He's a very unfortunate, very unfortunate, very unfortunate man. You got to dance, Rachel? Well, her husband was biting his quivering lips as she was removing her counterfeit hips. Just then her false nose clattered down on the floor. The poor lawyer screamed and ran out of the door. Now, for all you single men, here's some advice. For all you young men who would marry for life, be sure to examine your intended wife. Remember the lawyer who trusted his eyes, and a little bit later got quite a surprise. Let's sing it. He's a very unfortunate, very unfortunate, very unfortunate man. Yes, he is. He's a very unfortunate, very unfortunate, very unfortunate man.
Thank you, sis, and thank you, Barney. I think the thing about 5 children is that they, you can see they've done quite well in marrying very talented people. And I think the joy that mom and dad have had have not been just with their children, but with their spouses. And of course, there's always grandchildren if you wait long enough. And the grandchildren came along. Now, all the grandchildren are here today except 2. My daughter Cindy, who is living in Atlanta, and they could not get here, and Dave and Judy's son Tim, who's living in Florida and could not get here. Otherwise, all the grandchildren are here today, and so we moved from the children to the grandchildren. And I remember when my daughter Sandy, who is here, was small, and we were visiting here in Cape, and Dad and I had taken both she and her sister over to see my grandfather. And as we're in the car, she said, "Who are we going to see?" Sandy said, "Who are we going to see?" And we said, "Well, we're going to see your great-granddad." And she looked a little puzzled, and after we'd seen him, she got back in the car, and she said, she put her arms around Dad, and she said, "Well, Grandpa, you're great too." and you are. And I remember as the grandchildren came along, Dad was telling about Scott. Scott always had an unusual way of looking at the world, and Scott was come over one day, and he'd been to Sunday school, so he asked Dad. He said, "Grandpa," he said, "were you with Noah in the ark?" And Dad said, "Well, no." He said, "Well, Grandpa, why weren't you drowned?" So he had a neat kind of way of looking at things. I have here for you, Mom and Dad, a poem sent by Cindy, and it's put on onto a heavy thing here for you to hang, and her husband Steve made the frame, and she asked me to read it to you and present it to you today. It says, "Life will always come in stages. We are born, we grow old, we die. But while flipping through life's pages, some may find one on whom to rely to build their dreams, their hopes, their love, make memories along life's way, share faith in the one that's above, and together grow stronger each day." It's written by Cindy, and it's for you. Now, I think Sis was quite correct in saying that we all have varying perceptions of what we remember and how we see things. And I always tell her I know mine are more accurate than hers because I have some years on her. But there was 4 years difference between myself and between David. So I have those 4 years that I know most of these memories must have come from. But the memories are a very rich kind of thing, and I think it's wonderful that we have different perceptions. We each remember different things, and as you're sitting here today and different things are mentioned about memories, you will think of Arthur and Novella in your own kind of memory, or perhaps you're even creating that memory now. Sandy also has some perceptions and memories, and I don't know, some of you know all the children and what they do and so forth. Sandy is, I think it's now executive associate editor for whatever, for a health journal in Boston, and so she does a lot of writing and so forth. I'd asked her some weeks ago, I said, you know, you always have such a great way of putting things. Would you write something that you can share with Mom and Dad, because you shared many of the memories that you have? So she's jotted some of those down, and I've asked her to share with us now.
You want a chair?
I don't know why I agreed to this, and I've never used a mic. So, how do I sound with the mic? Okay?
Hold it.
Right? I don't know why I agreed to this. Okay. Here I go. Is this better? Better. This is a short story that I'm working on, and it's not finished yet, and I'm not going to read it all. And I may even read less than I count on, because this is worse than I thought it'd be. Okay. Here I go. The working title is Billy's Child. And is there an echo? If there's something I can do that would make me better on the mic, feel free to tell me. Okay. Aunt Chris picks me up at the airport, even though Grandpa scolded her about driving 2.5 hours alone. It seems odd to me that he doesn't think twice that I've flown across the country by myself to get there. Aunt Chris is his grown daughter, a mother of 3. I'm his granddaughter, fresh out of college. As we drive toward her home, we pass where Grandma and Grandpa's house used to be. The house has been torn down, but the concrete steps and walls that framed its front are still there.
They look out of place in front of the gravel and grass-sprinkled lot. And I think that the walls look swollen from years of trying to hold the embankment back from the street. When I see my grandparents, I know they won't ask me about myself or my life, not even a simple how's school. It used to bother me that they didn't seem interested in what I studied, who I dated, or where I lived. But then I realized it didn't matter. Even when I was 6 years old, I thought the law felt tilted toward Bloomfield, as my older sister Cindy and I sat on it to fish our afternoons away. Our fishing poles were twigs and string. Our pond was the craft and a paved sidewalk below. While I twisted the twig through my sweating hands, the string dangled in the motionless Missouri afternoons, and I could feel the hot concrete through my shorts. Once we rescued a baby bird from that sidewalk. Grandpa put its pink, featherless body into a shoebox on top of the tin shed in the backyard, close to the tree branches. Cindy and I stared after the box for a while. What do you think it's doing up there? I asked her. It's watching for its mother to come. I wish we could see it. You're not supposed to get near a baby bird too much or touch it, or else its mother won't come back. But Grandpa touched it, I insisted, so the mother won't come back. It's different when Grandpa touches it. Come on, let's leave it alone and go get flowers for Grandma, she says, tugging at my arm and skipping away. We moved about in the yard among the pink feathers of the mimosa trees, jumping to reach the tip of a branch and pulling it down close to us. Then we snipped off a piece of green and pink to take inside to Grandma. By the time we crossed the yard, the rows of leaves were curled in our hands. That was the first of the summers we spent in Missouri with my grandparents. We had been to visit there many times before, for every Thanksgiving, many 4th of July. We often drove through the night to get there, once when Kent State went crazy, once over a flooded levee. But this was for more than a month. And it was without our parents. At our parents' apartment, we stayed alone all day. We cooked our own lunches in the oven. We caught 2 buses across town to go to school and crossed a major highway. At home, I sat in a room watching Dark Shadows with Cindy in the afternoon, scared to keep watching, but more afraid of not being in the room that had Cindy in it. At home, we heard the guns of Kent State. Heard my mom talking about her as we slept, worried that Dad loved her kids more than us, until Grandma and Grandpa picked us up and flew home with them. Later, I was told it was so our parents could work things out. At Grandma's house, we weren't allowed to turn the TV channels or sit on the couch with a covering over it. No? Okay. Just a little moment. Just a little moment. We didn't answer the phone. She gave us money our parents spent to buy candy, not using it for our keep. She watched us from the doorway as we crossed the street to the candy store. Years later, she even watched Cindy from the door when she walked to high school. Mornings, I'd wake at 6 a.m. to the smell of an egg frying, and I'd shuffle in behind Grandma's back. She's turned to the stove wearing a cotton short-sleeved robe and the kind of slippers that have elastic around the ankle. The kind she can't wear now because the elastic hurts her scar from the surgery. See, this here scar is the surgery from where they took the vein out of my leg. It was for my heart, you know. Grandpa sees me first. Well, look here who's up. She wants to see you off, Grandma says. Don't you, hon? Sit down, I'll make you an egg when I'm finished with this one. Did you get up to see your old grandpa off, he says, reaching across the table. I believe I'll have you a piece of that there's pie. It's mighty good, ain't it? Breakfast ends with Grandpa kissing Grandma on the cheek and walking down the sidewalk to the dairy, the way he did every day for as long as I've known him, wearing his white coveralls, carrying his black metal lunchbox. When the boys, our cousins Tim and Terry, came over, we sat cross-legged on the living room floor to play war or slapjack. Aunt Jeannie and Grandma sat at the kitchen table where they still had a few of us to talk. Slapjack, 2 voices rang out in unison. Hey, I slapped down my hand first. Nuh-uh, I did. Aunt Judy, come see whose hand was first. Look, my pinky's under hers. But his hand's on the queen, not the jack. You have to hit the jack to win. It's called slapjack. Aunt Jeannie moved up to move toward us. The girls said their mom called today. She says over her shoulder in Grandma's direction, when are Bill and Barbara coming to get them? I see Grandma cut her eyes quickly toward us. Aunt Jeannie sees it too. If you all are going to argue, you've got to go outside and play. Too pretty to stay inside anyway, Aunt Judy says. She walks back toward Grandma in the kitchen. Look at them here inside on a pretty day. I tell you, if you're going to fight, you can just go outside, she says again, this time in Grandma's direction. We jump up to go out. Don't let the door slam behind you, Aunt Judy calls out after us. Slam, whoosh, slam, whoosh, slam, whoosh, slam. When Aunt Chris came over, she talked Grandma into sitting outside. Usually by then the boys were gone, and Cindy and I could linger around the back of their lawn chairs playing with our stuffed monkeys and listen to them talk. It was Dale Lee that was born after Billy. He lived to be 5 months before he died, Grandma says. But there were more before him, weren't there, Mother? Oh, yes. I had 2 babies before Billy. He was the first one that lived. My first baby was a girl, Delia Edna. She was named after my mother. Her name was Cordelia, but they called her Delia for short now. But she wasn't the mother you remember, right? Chris asked, taking a sip of her soda. No, she died when I was young. But she was my true mom, Estella's mom. My stepmother's name was Nora Ethel. Sometimes Grandma let us help her cook. Our favorite thing was bread pudding. We begged her to show us how to make it. One day she did. Well, you take a big bowl and you fill it up with bread. How big a bowl, Grandma? About one this size. You fill it with bread about this far, and then you add an egg and some milk. Oh, how much milk, Grandma? Just enough so you can stir it easy. Well, then you add sugar. How much sugar? Well, how sweet do you like it? You can taste it to tell, but I don't like to. I never do. I just add a lot of sugar, because I know I like it sweet. That's it. But Grandma, how do you cook it? Well, you put it in a pan shaped like this one and you bake it till it's done. Grandma supervised when Cindy and I wrote letters home. Dear Mama and Daddy, today Aunt Chris took us to the library. I got 3 books. We haven't been to the pool yet. I'm not homesick. Don't come get me. I love you, Sandy. Later in the afternoon, Cindy and I waited on the sidewalk for Grandpa. I don't remember Grandma telling us it was time for him to come home. We just knew he'd come down the walk, bringing us a treat. Maybe little ice creams with a flat wooden spoons. But even just a cold, white little milk from his dairy was never a disappointment. We checked out the inside of his lunchbox to see if anything good was left. On Wednesday nights, Grandma let me rest my head on her shoulder to sleep in church, even though Mom had told me for years that I was too old and too heavy for that. After church, she took me around to introduce me to the other ladies. This here is Billy's youngest daughter. One evening, before the sun went down, Grandpa was outside digging a hole at the edge of the church parking lot to bury the heads of the fish that we cooked for dinner. Grandma was holding them for him wrapped in a newspaper. I ran across the rocks of the church parking lot to tell him the phone was ringing. I could move pretty quickly because my feet had toughened. Early in the summer, the stones bruised my feet. Cindy and I followed Grandma inside, letting the screen door slam behind us. It was Mama on the phone. Grandma sat at the edge of the golden couch. I sat at the other end. Cindy was in the black leather rocker. I remember hearing the sound of Grandma talking while I watched their cat Rastus walk carefully in the 1-foot wooden frame around the perimeter of the room, not stepping on the carpet that covered the floor center because it felt unnatural to the pads of his feet. Yes, the girls are right here. Oh, I understand. I thought things were going to work out. I know that must be hard. Yes, the girls are right here. They're fine. That evening, Grandma and Grandpa sat in the lawn chairs under the mimosa trees. We ran and ran to catch lightning bugs with the boys. Heat lightning made the horizon glow rhythmically. I got a sick headache and Grandma took me inside to crush an aspirin for me. She put it in a spoon and covered it with grape jelly so I could swallow it easily. I laid on the couch with my shirt off, trying to cool down, hearing the voices in the yard through the buzz of my headache. I caught another one. Ew, this one's tail is squashed. Yuck! Don't put that on me. Grandma held a cold, wet cloth in my forehead as I threw up. I don't remember going up to my bed that night. I just suddenly sat up, and there I was in bed. I thought I remembered hearing them say something about the baby bird dying, being cooked by the heat of the tin roof, how it was a mistake to put it up there. But I couldn't be sure. Maybe I dreamed it. I cried out a little, and Cindy pushed off with one quick step in the center of the floor between our beds to cross over to mine. She wrapped her arm across me so I could fall back to sleep. They said goodbye to us at their house. Waving from the side doors, we drove away. It was Uncle Barney who made the plane ready for us before we flew home. Grandpa still treats Aunt Chris like his baby girl. He let me grow up. Maybe he just couldn't stop me. When your parents got divorced, it like it killed me. I'll never let anyone hurt me like that again, no sir. I never knew it hurt him so much. He doesn't talk about pain. Do you girls think we knew he was hurting? He asked me. Well, you girls was always good. We never heard you fight. It doesn't bother me anymore that Grandma and Grandpa don't know the details of my life. I understand now that they never did and still don't. Need a reason to be proud of me. They don't need to track my accomplishments. They love me because I have a history with them. They love me because I have a history with them. They love me because I'm Billy's child. I didn't know I was going to cry.
I haven't heard enough times about this, about you starting me, because I get really emotional sometimes with these kinds of things. But this is what 60 years brings. A lot of memories, a lot of love from people, and a lot of thoughts, and a lot of growing from all of us. Well, for a little different thing, I always know it's going to be different. Where's Scott? Because he's on next. Where are you, Scott? Come on up here, Scott. Let's give him a welcome as he comes up, okay? And where's John? Aha! We need you both.
Alright, we're getting ready to do a little skit here. This one's called The Candy Store. This is a neat place you got here, John. What is it?
Well, I just bought this store. It's a candy store.
It is? Well, how can this be a candy store? You don't have anything in it. I mean, to start a candy store, you're going to have shelves. Am I right? Shelves.
Yeah.
Well, you need to get some shelves.
Okay. Well, this looks like some good shelves right here.
Those are pretty sturdy shelves right there. Well, you better get them up here so we can have some shelves.
Take that one.
No, we need sturdy shelves.
You want to do shelves, don't you? It's not real hard. I got some shelves.
Shelves don't come easy nowadays, do they?
Real hard to find.
Where's that other shelf?
Well, yeah. We need another shelf, don't we? We have a lot of candy.
Turn the camera off. No way.
We got shelves now.
Now what do you think of my store? Is it good now?
Well, you have a shelves. You're going to have a counter so when they get the candy, they can put it on the counter, right? So get a counter. Oh, that's a dandy counter right there.
One counter.
Now let's see.
It's starting to come into shape now.
Where do you think I should put this counter?
Well, right in front of the shelves, of course.
All right. Well, let's see. Now, all you have to do is get a position like this.
It's looking good. It's looking good. So now you got shelves and counter, right? But hold on. Well, where are you going to put the money? You're going to have a cash register, right?
Cash register. Yeah.
Definitely a cash register.
All right, I'll go find one.
All right, go find a cash register.
I'm gonna sit, I'm turning around.
Hard to find cash registers nowadays?
Ah, cash register right here.
You like that, baby?
The perfect match. Counter and cash
You want to
register.
slip on me?
Now, let's see.
Yes, she is.
Of course, you don't want anybody to steal your cash register, so you need to put it behind the counter.
Okay. Not knock yourself.
I kneel down.
You
I
want
go forward.
to
No, just big one. Put your arm just like this. How are you do there? Now when we push the button.
Here's the button right here.
Cha-ching. Cha-ching.
That's a nice
Cha-ching.
That's a nice cash
Good, I
register.
like that.
You got a dandy there.
Yeah. Now I'm all set, right?
No, you're not. How are they going to get into this place? You have to have doors. Am I right? You got to have doors.
Sure.
Good doors, too. Maybe some of them automatic jobs. Right? Get some doors. Go get some doors.
All right. I saw just the perfect doors when I was back here. Two doors right there.
Tell them they sit down.
We want our doors right up here, don't we?
Yeah, we want our doors in the front, you know.
You're on that with that. Okay. Let's see if this works.
Okay.
Ding ding.
You need to tune that a little bit, John. It's a little off.
Ding ding.
A little slow. There we go. We're going. Come on.
Ding ding.
One door doesn't work too well. At all. Okay. I think you just about said that there's only one problem.
What?
Most of the time when people come in, it might be a hot day, they're going to be thirsty. You're going to need a water fountain. Okay? Then I think that the store will be complete. Definitely a water fountain.
Water fountain. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
There's a water fountain. Would you like to be a water fountain?
Oh, we got a water fountain now. Make sure you come through the doors now that we do have doors.
Ding ding. Ding ding.
We'll throw away those doors later.
Where do you want the water fountain? Over there?
Yeah, over here. You know, it's kind of crowded over here. I say we go, yeah, over there. That's good.
And
John,
remember,
Eric, come on up here.
remember how to design one of those water fountains.
Focus on that. Watch this. I'll try her out. Pretty
Doesn't
good,
make
but
any noise.
I know it's because there's no water coming out of it.
You're going to have to go, whenever I push your thumb down, just go,
Take a drink till we say. Pretty good?
And the cash register good?
yeah?
Ding ding.
Cha-ching.
No, these are the ding dings.
Perfect doors. Ding ding.
Ding ding, yes, they do, right.
Now
Wow.
what do you think? Is this the perfect candy?
I like it. You know what? I'll be your first customer, all right? I want to buy some candy.
All right.
But where's all your candy? You got everything else. Did you forget the candy?
Well, yeah.
Well, what am I going to buy then?
No, wait. I've already got 6 suckers. Or 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 suckers.
So the grandchildren are amongst us here. So we've kind of heard a word or two from the children and from the grandchildren, and there are a lot of times people who kind of come into the family, as it were,
The band's ready to set up.
later in the family.
I said the band's getting ready, wants to get ready to set up.
So one of the things that I wanted to say this evening before we finish this part, is that though this is a joyous occasion, 10 years ago we had a 50th wedding anniversary, and this is the 60th, and since that time, members connected to this family, we've had 7 deaths in the family. I wanted to mention those names and then share one last thing with you. During the 7 years, Theda died, Joe Reardon died, Leela Schaefer died, Clara Scher, Mom's sister died, Marvin Miller, Uncle Marvin died, and GC and Aunt Stella died. This left Mother with no brothers and sisters living, and it shortened the number that my father has. Those are memories too, and they're memories that are a part of such a gathering. And I'd like to share this with you if I can. I entitled it Song of a Meadowlark, remembering Uncle GC and Aunt Stella on the farm. And I'd like to do it in commemoration of all those people that you're a part of that we've lost in the last 10 years. When the phone rang, I had no idea it would be my parents. A caution born years ago in the Great Depression still makes them call only when tragic news is to be given. So with a smile at how habits linger beyond their need, I lifted the phone to hear my father's voice break the news that my Uncle GC had died after a long bout with emphysema. Although it was a long expected loss, it was sad for them to tell and for me to hear. 7 years later, almost to the day, another phone call informed me of the death of my Aunt Stella. I was at least relieved that I had visited her in her sickbed 2 days before the news came. For me, Uncle GC and Aunt Stella were a reminder of my youth and my days visiting on the farm in Brownwood, a small hamlet in the Boot Hill of southern Missouri. And as I heard that news, the memories assailed me. I remembered again the land itself, the gentle swell of pasture and cropland, the pond waters ruffled by breezes that never failed in summer, and the old Castor River at summer low and spring swell. I smelled again the fresh cut alfalfa of the meadow at haying time, and the acrid fragrance of bitter weeds scythed off by farmers to keep the milk cows from eating it. I heard the fluting whistles of meadowlarks and the coarse, heavy rustle of oak leaves from trees left standing for shade. I saw again the gum tree in front of the weather-beaten country farmhouse, hacked with kitchen knife to give poor kids a chewing treat. But the farm had embraced my people too, and some of the images were caught in faded photographs. One of my cousin H.E. and I, each holding the leg of a rabbit, he with a shotgun in hand, me with a walking stick. We were not more than 6 or 7, proud to be showing off the trophy that Uncle GC had killed in the woods. Another picture of Aunt Stella and my mother, standing in front of the gum tree, young and innocent. Another of my brother and my sister and myself before 2 other children were born into the clan. but no album could hold all the pictures. Aunt Stella, tireless, cooking meals, ironing clothes, hoeing the garden, listening to her childlike laughter and jovial play with my cousins and I. Uncle G.C., sitting on rainy days regaling us with stories of how someday he would fix the farm and build buildings and create dreams. Local farmers forking hay into the loft in August, their blue denim shirts dark with sweat. Myself exulting in the boundless energies of youth, rising early with H.E. to go fishing and exploring, crossing over fresh plowed fields, the rich dark furrows falling over in shining ribbons in the slant of early light, the sweet cry of birds diving for the fat worms. Many years have passed. Yet the vision of sloping meadows about tranquil ponds with great oaks pooling deep cool shade for the cattle have never left me. Even after Uncle G.C. and Aunt Stella sold the farm, I would go back to see all the changes, never for the best, and discover again my memories were richer far than the land had become. But as I walked again along Oldcaster River, I remembered the parade of slow, benign terrapins I secretly carried back to the city, so their mosaic shells and wise-looking old heads could become reminders of the tranquil place where I had found them. My memory flashed the indelible image of those afternoons when I caught grinnell, a fish that fought like a bass or a trout and needed magic handling to prepare for feast. Or when we had found a wounded hawk, its shattered wing helpless, but the wild pride burning fiercely in the yellow eyes as he circled to defy us when we came too close. From our hard decision that day, H.E. and I found a wordless wisdom we would not forget. But much has come to pass since that time of youth long ago. The phone calls make me all too aware. Uncle G.C. and Aunt Stella have passed on. No more will I hear his deep bass voice and chuckle, or see the twinkle of jolly laughter in her eyes. And Mother and Dad are also old now, beset by nagging infirmities, and I too have passed the half-century mark. But memory defies all of this, and I have only to close my eyes and bring back the farm as it was. I am a young boy again. For a moment I've stopped to rest in the persimmon grove on my way to the country store, listening while the wind makes music in branches above my head. Not far off a meadowlark whistles from a clump of summer grass. And soon I will walk up the lane between higher than head-high corn on the one side and the ripening cotton crop on the other to Uncle G.C. and Aunt Stella's farm. Aunt Stella will have a farm meal on the table with tall glasses of milk, and my favorite cake still warm for dessert. I open my eyes upon all the changes worked by time, and I face the reality of what is lost. With the strength of a man's mind, I accept. But the meadowlark sings sometimes in the secluded field of the heart, and it's easy to ignore what reason says. I surrender for a delicious moment to the dream that in the evening, coming closer now, I will walk again through the sweet grasses to where they wait in love. One of the things about family that's wonderful in our celebration here tonight, Mom and Dad, with you, is that a family sets humans apart from all other living creatures, does it not? Who else has children they call their own for longer than it takes to set them on their feet or let them go on their way? Even the most loving animals, the vixen, the bear, the lioness, teach their cubs to make their own world, and then they forget them. And after the eagle has taught her eaglet to fly, she will see him no more. And calf, colt, grasshopper, dragonfly all go their separate ways as soon as they can. Only humans stand with their children from the first to the last, from birth to death. With that in mind, Judy's going to sing one last song for us. And Mom and Dad, you're going to be sitting there, and you'll be receiving a few little gifts to commemorate, I anything with this? Okay. Yeah. Would Mom and Dad, would you please come? Come on this side, if you will, for us, Mom, Dad. We got another chair for you, Mom. but we didn't know how long this program was going to be. It's a little longer. We appreciate your setting. And they're going to get ready to set up for the band, so I hope you can stay around for some music and dancing, whatever you'd like. Really appreciate you being here. This would not be a day without you, and it means so much to Mom and Dad. So thank you all for being here and being a part of this celebration. Thanks again.